Alright, buckle up, elite students and fellow degenerates. We're diving deep into the turbulent waters of Classroom of the Elite, Year 3, Volume 1. Get ready, because things are about to get wild, confusing, and oh so strategically twisted. If you thought Year 2 was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. So only moments after the dust settled from the second year final exam, we returned to the classroom. Our beloved Class 2D, now Class 3A, has finally reached the summit. Horikita, our ever-evolving leader, is brimming with a quiet excitement, feeling like she's finally made it here. But this triumph came at a cost, didn't it? Sacrifice. The class acknowledges that their new position is built upon the departure of classmates like Yamauchi, Sakura, and Maizono. Horikita takes her seat, feeling a sense of amusement, almost fate, that she's once again sitting next to none other than Ayanokuji-kun. Oh, if only she knew. She wants to share her thoughts with him, to reaffirm their shared goal of graduating from Class A together. But hold up, something's off. The bell rings for second period, and Ayanokuji-kun is nowhere to be found. Horikita, concerned, debates whether he's got a stomachache or if it's awkwardness after his breakup with Karuizawa. She dismisses the latter, convinced he's not the type. But then, their homeroom teacher, Chabashira-sensei, enters the room. And her face? It's utterly pale. Her eyes are lifeless, unfocused. Something is seriously wrong. Chabashira-sensei eventually drops the bombshell. Ayanokuji-kun has transferred classes! The class is in disbelief. Transferring from Class A to a lower class? They demand answers. Chabashira, clearly shaken, reveals that Ayanokuji used private points to exercise a certain right. 20 million private points. The class checks their OAA, and sure enough, his name has vanished from Class 3A and appeared in Class 3C. Confusion reigns. Ike and Shinohara can't fathom why Ayanokuji would do such a thing, especially after they finally made it to Class A. Kushida, surprisingly calm, explains that Ayanokuji's contribution to the head of class has been immense, even if unseen. She's right. If he weren't crucial, Chabashira wouldn't be this distraught. Karuizawa, still reeling from their breakup, is asked if she knew. Her indifferent response? I don't know anything. Horikita, still in disbelief, rushes to Class C's classroom, then to Keiaki Mall, desperate for answers. She finds Ayanokuji-kun in the cafe, casually chatting with Hashimoto-kun, Morishita-san, and even Ichinose-san from Class D. He seems completely unfazed by his transfer, as if he's already moved on. Horikita demands to know his intentions. Hashimoto, now protective, declares Ayanokuji-kun their leader candidate. Leader candidate? Ayanokuji doesn't deny it, stating his chance was non-existent with Sakayanagi around. He casually exposes Matsushida's strategic mind, calling her one of the sharpest minds in Horikita's class, someone who doesn't put forth all her effort and works behind the scenes. This leaves Horikita reeling. Ayanokuji brutally tells Horikita that he didn't inform anyone in Class A about his transfer because he wanted to trouble them, and that it was solely for his own benefit to help Class C without Sakayanagi. He refuses to elaborate further, leaving Horikita shattered, realizing he views her as unreliable. Ouch. But here's the real kicker. Ayanokuji's transfer isn't just about personal gain, it's a calculated chess move. He reveals to Hashimoto, Morishita, and Ichinose that he's formed a complete alliance with Ichinose's class. Not a short-term fling, but a plan to fight together through most of their third year. Hashimoto is flabbergasted. "That's impossible!" he cries, pointing out that only one class can graduate Class A. But Ayanokuji calmly explains the terms. If their classes are matched one-on-one, they've agreed to concede victory to the class that is even 1 point behind in class points. Morishita points out that this means sacrificing valuable class points, but Ayanokuji counters that an alliance also doubles their information gathering capabilities and allows them to coordinate private points, a crucial weapon in special exams. Ichinose backs him up, emphasizing that her credibility and Ayanokuji's trust are the key to this alliance. They agree that the alliance will naturally dissolve once Class C and Class D rise to stand alongside Class A and Class B. Ayanokuji reveals his ruthless side, stating that he allowed Horikita's class to suffer from his transfer to hurt them more deeply once they learn of the alliance, as it will hit them when they've somewhat healed. Cold as ice. So with his new class, Ayanokuji starts observing, learning names, faces, and basic abilities beyond the OAA. He even gets a visit from the eccentric Morishita Ai, who calls him spectacularly unpopular, leftover merchandise, and ignorant. Charming. His new seatmate Shiraishi Asuka, a quiet student with a beauty mark and long blonde hair, seems oddly intrigued by him. Yoshida, a classmate with a crush on Shiraishi, tries to set up a friendly gathering, but Ayanokuji quickly realizes Shiraishi has a reputation as the 100-man slayer, implying a lot of romantic experience. During self-study, Ayanokuji feels an uncomfortable sensation in his hair. He quickly discovers Morishita is deliberately flicking eraser crumbs at his head, while Shiraishi, his desk neighbor, subtly signals her movements. He confronts Morishita, who ridiculously claims it's not bullying because he's a lion and she's a weak maiden. Shiraishi, meanwhile, finds this whole spectacle cute. Yikes. No wonder her previous seatmate Sugio readily gave up his spot. Then comes the big one. The Comprehensive Academic Ability Exam, full class and small group battles. This exam tests pure academic ability but with special rules, including penalty points that can be purchased. Horikita's Class 3A faces, Ichinos' Class 3D, and Ayanokuji's Class 3C battles Ryuin's Class 3B. Ryuin, ever the strategist, decides to give up on the small group battle against Class C. He deliberately nominates 5 academically weak students, including Ishizaki and Ibuki. Why? Because he anticipates Ayanokuji will participate in the small group battle to prove himself and solidify his leadership in Class C. Ryuin's cunning plan is to hit Ayanokuji with all 100 penalty points, ensuring a score of 0, regardless of his true academic ability. This would deny Class C a complete victory and publicly defeat Ayanokuji in his first official challenge as a Class C member. Ryuin thinks he's outsmarted Ayanokuji, believing his opponent will be left looking foolish. The results are in. Class A, despite their efforts, is defeated by Ichinos' Class D. How? Ichinos' class accurately targeted 3 of Class A's participants, including Koenji, with 25 penalty points each, implying a significant investment of 1.25 million private points. Hirata, who chose the participants, is baffled, suggesting a leak. But Karuizawa, with newfound insight, points to the undeniable truth. Could it be Ayanokuji-kun? Yes, Ayanokuji. He used his 2 years in Class A to understand its members better than anyone, even predicting Koenji's participation despite his aloof nature. His advice to Ichinos, combined with her own information gathering, allowed Class D to win. Meanwhile, in the Class C versus Class B battle, Class C wins handily. But Ayanokuji's individual score, a perfect 100 points. Except with Ryuin's 100 penalty points applied, his score effectively became 0. Shimazaki and Hashimoto are left scratching their heads. Ayanokuji correctly predicted none of Ryuin's participants, yet they still won. What's going on? Ayanokuji, with a calm smirk, explains his true strategy to his perplexed classmates, while Ryuin, who's barged into gloat, listens in silent horror. Ayanokuji never intended to see through Ryuin's irrational, weak lineup. His true aim was to understand the essence of the opponent, meaning Ryuin's intentions, and how he would fight. He predicted that Ryuin would choose to abandon a weak area, academics, and instead focus on inflicting psychological damage by publicly defeating Ayanokuji and delaying his rise to leadership. Ayanokuji deliberately allowed himself to be defeated in the small group battle, accepting the 100 penalty points to demonstrate to Class C his immense threat level to other classes and prove his worth as a powerhouse. His perfect score in the overall exam, combined with Ryuin's exaggerated caution, the 100 penalty points, served as undeniable proof of his abilities. Ryuin, who thought he was playing Ayanokuji, unknowingly walked right into his trap, becoming a pawn in Ayanokuji's grand scheme to solidify his leadership. This wasn't Ryuin's victory, it was Ayanokuji's. While Ayanokuji rises, Horikita plummets into despair, blaming herself for Class A's defeat and Ayanokuji's transfer. She feels useless, lost, and pathetic. But in her lowest moment, Karuizawa Kei appears, unexpectedly offering comfort. Karuizawa, who's also been silently suffering since her breakup, shares her own pain and reveals her dark past of bullying and how Ayanokuji saved her from the darkness. Horikita realizes she had underestimated Ayanokuji's impact and her own reliance on him. She confesses she didn't realize how strong he made her feel. Karuizawa's honesty breaks through Horikita's facade and and the two find a surprising connection in their shared suffering and complicated feelings for Ayanokuji. Together they vow to make Ayanokuji regret transferring out of our class, a powerful step forward for Horikita. The after effects of Ayanokuji's machinations continue. He approaches Kushida, offering to pay her in private points to betray Class A and become an insider for Class C, hinting at future expulsions. Kushida is hesitant but intrigued, acknowledging his ruthless effectiveness. Ayanokuji also has a tense meeting with Kitu Hayato, a strong but quiet Class C student who challenges him to a physical display of strength. Ayanokuji easily overpowers Kitu, demonstrating his physical prowess and demanding Kitu's loyalty, not through fear, but by proving he's capable of protecting his classmates. And finally, a hint of deeper conspiracies. Nanase Tsubaki, a second year, is caught with two phones, one of which she uses to call Tsukishiro-san, mentioning Ishigami Kyu, and a suspicious first-year student. This implies a connection to the White Room and a larger plot unfolding. So there you have it, Classroom of the Elite. Year 3, Volume 1 is a masterclass in strategic manipulation, emotional turmoil, and unexpected alliances. Ayanokuji has cemented his position in Class C, turning even his defeat into a victory. Horikita and Karuizawa are beginning a new path of growth, while Reiun is left to pick up the pieces of his shattered pride. The stage is set for a truly explosive final year. What do you think of Ayanokuji's ruthless tactics? Who are you rooting for in this final year? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into your favorite light novels, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, fellow elites.